What's up? So this one's about Donald Trump denying that he's racist, and yeah, it's like I could sit around denying that I got eyebrows, but they sit on my head. Sometimes they don't feel them, but you can notice it. His tendencies are what they are. You know, um, if he was a comedian, he'd be like Don Rickles or Andrew Dice Clay or something like that. Because it's kind of like what he is. Offensive with the not being. Two qualifying African Americans running for governor in Georgia and Florida, respectively. And he calls them one a thief and the other not qualified. Um, called LeBron James and Don Lemon low IQ people. Um, said what he said about African nations. Calling Kaepernick this African countries derogatory term. Central Park Five said they should have been all lynched, even though they were innocent, falsely accused, and spent a lot of time in prison. I can go on about him, his housing discrimination record against African Americans. You know, he is funny. Yeah, you could sit there and say you don't say nothing, but your body and your language of being a white nationalist and being a supremacist and separatist and your association. When what down in Charlottesville, one of the first people that comes on and says, you know who your base is, who none other than the on new face himself, David Duke. So it's like, well, okay, you sit here and say you're not this. However, all your agenda base is there. And then you shut down two African American female reporters in your conference. I saw that. It's just a typical how he doesn't want to be held accountable for what he puts out there, his anti immigrant situation. How he's locking people and how he's going about doing things. His agenda. No black staff on his situation. When you look at most of the majority, you know, when it's all these appointments, what he's doing. So you look at him and he sits there and says one thing. However, the reality and the words, his words are saying one thing, but his reality that's being put in place reflects a different picture. And that's the thing about him. It's always been that dual contradiction, but it's not even a contradiction because he is a racist, old bigot, you know, and so are the majority of his supporters who don't have a clue, Oh, they have a clue because there's a reason why there's tension in the United States right now because of how his demeanor, his separatist nature, and there's this false sense that white America walks around thinking, oh, black people, colored people taking our opportunities, and ain't nobody taking nothing. America's still white. It's still white base. It's still, only thing they done is that been getting called out on they stealing, especially of African Americans for 40 years, been stealing people's ideas and running it and not giving credit and not sharing. That's the only thing, which is nothing new. They've been taken from everybody. So that's the only thing. It's like, okay, well, the light is starting to hit the sun. So what do you see? But see, the denial, that's the evil of reality. So that's my take about Donald Trump's denial about being racist. Feel free to leave them comments. Peace.